Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Good now, real good. Now, what I'm time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, happiness specialist and inner peace practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the show. Woo-wee! Reality Spirituality Radio. We've been on the air doing this show probably, I'm going to say it's 11 years now. I really need to do the calculation, but I enjoy sharing with you, and if you've listened to the show for that long, and I've had a few long-time listeners, the journey is always filled with ups and downs and life experience. I mean, do we have control over what happens to us? Do we have control over what happens? You know the answer. You know that answer is no, we don't. And it can't get any more evident by what's happened since 2020 with the lockdowns and the pandemic. So the point is this. When I say happiness specialist, let me just really, because I heard this a couple of days ago, and that word happiness gets a bad rap. When I say happiness specialist, I'm talking about a vibration. I'm talking about a foundation. Just like you would set your temperature gauge to, I don't know, what do you like in the house, 65, 70 degrees. It is a temperature gauge that you set within yourself. It's a temperature gauge that you set. It's a temperature gauge that you stay, that you live, where you live. And when I say that, being a happiness specialist, when I say happy, it is interchangeable with contentment, peace, that vibration of satisfaction, balance. I don't use that word joy. I don't know why. I just don't use it. But it's a vibration of peace. And so when I talk about happiness, that's what I mean. It's a vibration. You don't get happy because something happens. It is a state of being. It is a state of mind. Happiness is a practice skill. And so all it is what do you practice? What do you eliminate? We were all programmed for unhappiness, programmed to believe we can point our finger and blame someone else or blame the circumstances for how we're feeling. We were programmed to judge and point our fingers and be in someone else's business and judge this is good or this is bad. We were programmed, but all of those, we were programmed to have expectations. We were programmed to compare ourselves with what someone else is doing. We were programmed to, this is a real good one, to worry. How many of you out there worry? I ask this question all the time, and there is not one time no one raises their hand. You were programmed to worry. You were not born worrying. And the solution to that, the solution to all worrying is just practicing more trust. See, the solutions, this show is about what's the problem, what's the solution. What is the problem? What is the challenge you're having, whatever it is, whether it's with a coworker, a relationship, finances, health. It doesn't matter the topic. It is an endless amount of challenges that we all have, including myself. But when I say happiness is a practice skill, it is about what you practice, and what you practice becomes your identity. And when I say a foundational set point, just think, I love to do that temperature gauge. And believe it or not, I like really, really cold. The upstairs is 62 degrees. Let's see what the temperature here is. 63. Yes, I like it cold. Don't ask. But it is that set temperature. What are you vibrating in any moment? And your vibration and your energy has nothing to do with what is happening out there, what happens to you. It is nothing. I know we were programmed to believe that, yes, the story of, let's see, I don't know, let's just use a simple one. Lost my wallet. Now I'm distressed. Now I'm stressed. It is really interesting, the programming, and when you become aware, and you're conscious in every moment, trust me, it's exhausting. When you're conscious in every moment, you can make choices of, let's just say you're in the middle of a disaster, okay? You're in the middle of a tornado. You're in the middle of a storm. In that moment, there are a lot of things you can practice. There are a lot of things that you can do. Number one, trust everything is going to be okay. You have evidence of that in your past. Number two, change your perspective. You know, the problem with when I have something I'm focused on, oh, God, that's not, why is that happening? Well, that's only because I have one perspective. That's only because my ego only gives me one perspective. When you practice changing your perspective in every moment, especially if it's something that your ego doesn't like, because it's always, the ego is never satisfied. There's always finding something wrong with the present moment. You know what I'm talking about. When you practice in every, okay, let me step back a little bit. Let me ask you these questions. Let me just step back. On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness to you? Now, there's a variety of numbers out there from 1 to 10. Some people say 8. It doesn't matter. It's your own personal choice. But I'm going down with it being a 10 in all moments. And the number to call in, I have a few people in the queue. The number to call in is area code 646-564-9619, and just press the number 1 if you have a question or a comment. Area code 646-564-9619. So back to happiness and the definition. My definition, and if you've listened to the show, you've heard it a million times. My definition is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. And that, I think that's Robert. And that ability to be at peace also is when life, future, things are, you have no idea, uncertainty. I mean, the amount of uncertainty in my life right now is at a high scale. I mean, from where I'm going to live to where I'm going to what in a matter of 2 months, things are going to be tossed upside down. And the reason why, I'm not even going to give you a story about the reason why. The reason why is whatever is supposed to be happening is happening. Whatever I'm supposed to be feeling, I'm supposed to be feeling. Whatever I'm supposed to be saying, I say, I think. Whatever I'm focused on, whatever my perspective is in the moment, it is really living with this awareness that life is about change, growth, experience. experience without judgment of this is good or this is bad. And that's not only for that person in the mirror, it's for everybody else out there. All of the things. I mean, I used to look out and find things that I could point out, oh, this shouldn't be happening. This is wrong. I don't care what it is. The universe divines, and I use the term universe. A lot of people use the term God, source, higher power, energy. It doesn't matter. Spirit, it doesn't matter. I use the term universe. It doesn't. The universe's plan is so vast. It's incomprehensible. My little pea brain can't even wrap around what the plan is so intricate. I've given this example years ago. Now, I'm not going to give that example now. But you know in your life, you have evidence in your life that something you went through that was, you wouldn't have chosen it, definitely wouldn't have chosen it, but now you find the benefits, and now you find, or later on you find, or you discover how that experience served you, how that experience served you and your growth. You know, this when I say happiness getting a bad rap, one of my favorite scientific studies is a woman. Her name was Bronnie Ware, and I've mentioned it on the show before. And she is a hospice nurse, and she did a study with her patients, and it was the 5 regrets of the dying. You can Google that. Bronnie, spelled Bronnie. The 5 regrets of the dying. And one of the 5 regrets of people that are dying is, I wish I would have let myself be happier. So my where I stand, my perspective is, what else is there? What else is there? And when I say happiness, I'm talking about an inner peace. An inner peace regardless of health, regardless of age, regardless of what my eyes see, regardless of what my ego says, regardless of my ego telling me something's wrong here. When I say happiness is a practice skill, it's like any other skill. The more you commit to the practice, and it is daily, it is moment by moment, the better the results. How many of you out there can say right now how you've changed in 3 months? How are you different? How have you grown in 3 months, 6 months? How have you grown in the last 2 weeks? And I'm asking that question is because part of this finding inner peace is really monitoring self and celebrating the growth, celebrating your growth. I'm going to give you an example of something that just happened last week, and I said, oh, geez, who am I now? I grew up. I'm one of those people that likes to negotiate and likes to bargain with price. So if somebody says, I'm selling you this couch for, especially if it's an independent company. It's different if you walk into a department store. I can't even believe I said department store. I haven't been in a department store in years. Anywho, you walk into an independent store and you're talking to the owner and they have put a price tag on, I don't know, a couch, and they say it's $200. I'm the one that says, well, can I, get it for $170 if I give you cash? That kind. And it came from a long time ago, living in Los Angeles and going down to the L.A. Mart and bargaining for clothes or bargaining for jewelry. It's always a negotiation. And that goes from buying a car to buying a house to vacation, all of it. How can I get a better deal? I mean, it's just part of who I was. And I have this cabinet, this my grandmother's cabinet. I mean, I've had it for decades now, carted around from California to this place to that place, and now in Oregon. And, I said, it's time to do some real deep cleaning and clearing out. It's time to let go. One of the things that I do probably about 3 to 4 times a year is to get rid of 10 items a day for 30 days. 10 items a day for 30 days. It's a real challenge, especially those last 10 days. You find, I'll get rid of this piece of paper. That counts. So I'm doing a big clearing, a big cleaning out. In this cabinet, my grandmother's cabinet, it's time to go. It's an antique cabinet, but it's time to go. And I put an ad in Craigslist, and I believe it was $225, or best offer. I already gave you my background. A gentleman came and his wife and looked at the cabinet, and he's a bargainer too. He's a negotiator too, and I love the negotiators. It's so much fun negotiating. And he says, no, I'm going to have to put so much work into it. I got to stain it and strip it and paint it. No. And I could tell that his wife really liked the cabinet, but he was the boss, so they left. And then the next day, he sends me an email, and he says, I will offer you, if you still have the cabinet, I'll give you $125 for the cabinet. Now, this is an antique cabinet. It was already good price, $225. I know this sounds like a crazy story, but my point is this. One of the things, and the topic is uncertainty. One of the things that I've asked the universe for assistance, asked the universe for help, is letting go of judgments, letting go of vibrations, letting go of things that are habits, letting go of things that just don't serve me anymore. And it is always, and when you're growing, there is always something new to let go of, and there's always something new to evolve into. The point is, so he sends me this email, and he says $125. Now, my first thought, and my first was, well, I'll say $150. I'll go back and say $150. And then the universe just tapped me on the shoulder and said, let go of all of that. Let go. That's what he wants to pay. He's going to be happy. Let go. And when I say letting go of that wasn't very easy at first, it wasn't, but there was a peace. There was a dropping the shoulders. There was a not doing or being or even unrecognizable. I told the people in my life that know me, that have known me for decades, couldn't believe it. Yeah, okay, whatever, you want to pay $10, fine. And when I say being aware of your growth and being aware of things that don't serve you, it's not, growth isn't celebrated in this world. Growth is not celebrated. And I'm here to say to celebrate even the smallest. That was a big one for me. Letting go of old habits and patterns that are just, I'm just tired. I'm tired of negotiating. I'm done. I'm at a stage where I'm living. I've consciously asked the universe, I'm going to live like I have a year left. Live like I have a year left. So when I say uncertainty, there is this being okay with uncertainty and having a big dose of it and moving, why, when, where am I moving? It's a lot of uncertainty going. It's a lot of I have no idea. And how can I be peaceful, and how can I enjoy being uncertain? And if you know, when you've listened, I always ask for help. I am not trying to get up here. I am not trying to do this on my own. Universe, how can I enjoy? How can I be at peace with uncertainty? Universe, how can I let go of what's going to happen around the corner? What's next? How can I be in each moment and being okay with not knowing? How can I be relaxed? How can I practice dropping the shoulders and not knowing what's around the corner? And not only not knowing, but not caring with a big portion of trusting. Everything that has happened, and I'm going to say for you too, everything that has happened to you, if you are honest, scratch that. If you are aware, you know that the things that have happened are serving you in a way that couldn't have happened. You know, when I talk, I know I've talked about this before, but the handyman getting the house, the family house, was one of the best things that ever happened to me as far as my growth. Now, my ego didn't like it. But as far as my personal growth, letting go of attachments, letting go of things, that's one of the reasons why I can let go. Well, that's the story, but that's one of the reasons why letting go of anything material. I don't care if it's sentimental. I don't care if you've had it for 20 years. The ability to let go. The practice of being okay with uncertainty. Now when I threw in that word enjoyment, that's a tough one. Enjoying being uncertain? Oh, don't think that it's not a challenge. Don't think it's not a challenge for me. It is. But the more you practice with any other skill, and I say happiness is a practice skill, the more you practice, guess what? The more you will experience what you practice. And just ask for help. Hey, universe, how can I be okay? How can I let go? Because my ego is always telling me there's something else I need to be doing. There's something else I should be doing. Everything is anything but being at peace with the present moment. There is always something, my ego, all that critical voice has always something wrong with the present moment. Even when I told you last week that I had COVID, that uncertainty of, well, what's going to happen? Am I going to survive this? Am I not going to survive it? All of it. The uncertainty is how nature rolls. The uncertainty, you look out in nature and you see the animals, they're not into planning for the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? And so when you look out in nature, you get clues. Even when you were born 1 year, 2 years, there wasn't any program to what's going to happen tomorrow and finding some illusional security in knowing what's going to happen. Because you know and I know that there is no way, especially after this pandemic, there is no way that you can guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow. No way. So isn't it time to be shoulders down, to be at peace, and to enjoy uncertainty? Enjoyment in not knowing? Enjoyment No, it's really the opposite, right? It's unsettling. It's unsettling. It feels it's shaky. But I promise you, the more you practice, the more you ask for help. Universe, help me find peace and enjoyment in uncertainty. Doesn't matter. Your ask will always get answered. Your asks will always get answered. How many of you out there think that you have control over what happens tomorrow? I mean, come on. Life has given us too many examples of here today, and it's not there tomorrow. This new normal that we're all entering in, that we're all in now, the new normal, can happen in a blink of an eye. I'm trying to snap my finger, my left hand. Can happen like that. When I say inner peace practitioner, happiness specialist, it's really a practice that if I can do it, you can do it. And you know what else I've discovered about people? People are so cute. You know what I've discovered is that there are some people that are okay, that are very keeping everything the same, nothing changing. I'll give you a perfect example. I was taking a walk, and one of my neighbors down the road, I was talking about all the losses, all the deaths in his life. He rattled off 4 from his uncle, who was in his 80s, his mother in the 90s, and then his friends, and he rattled off 4 people that had died within the last 6 months. And I've shared with you that I've had 2 friends here in Oregon that have died in the last 3 months also. And I remember having a conversation with him, and he was, you could feel someone's energy. And he was just, he really, I'm not going to say enjoyed, but he really wanted to hold on to feeling sad, even if the person's 90. What a great life. He really wanted to focus on feeling sad, feeling bad, feeling all of that. And let me say this, that's okay. Years ago I would say, don't you want to change how you're feeling, and why would you want to feel bad? But I've realized, and it's really an acceptance of people and other people, and the only way I can accept others is accepting self, is there are people that are okay and feel good about, I don't want to say feel good, that feel comfortable with feeling bad. There is a comfort. They didn't want to get cheered up. If I say here's $1 million, no, don't cheer me up. I'd rather stay here. And there were times, there were years that I would think that there was something wrong with that. And I'm here to say that we are as different as our fingerprints, and even the people that are not like you, scratch that, let me just speak about myself. Even the people that are not like me, that do not commit, do not think happiness is number one, that's okay too. Total acceptance is I'm going to say the only road. One of the only roads to peace is acceptance of these other people and what they believe in their journey, and to stay out of their business, and to stay out of thinking that the arrogance that I think I know what's best for someone else. Don't tell anybody. I used to be like that. Don't tell anyone. The arrogance. The acceptance of others and their beliefs, guess what, are going to bring you more peace. That's what that does. Non-acceptance judgments about other people, it's not peaceful. It actually subtracts, robs you, takes away from your peace. Now that you know that, what are you going to do about it? When I talk about what adds to happiness, what adds to peace, the practice is this. It's wanting to be at peace, wanting to be happier, wanting to feel that vibration of contentment, making that a priority. Surrendering to whatever is happening in the moment and saying, thank you, universe, even though I don't like what I'm experiencing, even though I don't like how I'm feeling, I know that it is here. I know that whatever this experience is for my greater good, is serving me. So thank you. And that's when I'm in the middle of the storm and I trust that everything is evolving perfectly. I said acceptance of self. It's looking in the mirror and being okay with that person. Looking in the mirror and really being okay. I'm talking about being okay with what I say, being okay with what I don't say, how I say it, when I say it. It is total acceptance of self. And when you have acceptance of self, you can accept others. Listen, I'm not saying I have this perfectly. I'm not saying, hey, I got to stay in school. Being okay with uncertainty is part of the practice of finding inner peace, of not finding it, of experiencing more inner peace. Letting go of the illusions of thinking that you have control over anything that happens. I've talked about patience. Oh, this patience. Oh, what a killer. Oh, I hate that. I hate how slow the universe works. Oh, it is so annoying. It's the worst. Patience and trust. Patience and trust. Letting go. Oh, it's the worst. But I ask for more patience. And one of the things, let me just share. I had a session with a woman. She did a lot. She asked me a lot of really good questions. And one of the things I said, I feel like I'm running out of time. Of course, that was an ego statement. I'm running out of time. She says, really? You're running out of time, huh? Well, what do you believe happens after you die? What do you believe before you're born, and what do you believe after? Well, I said, hey, I chose to be here. I wanted to be here in this time, in this space. I wanted to reincarnate, yes. And then what do you believe after? Well, energy doesn't die, which is true. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It doesn't die. Consciousness doesn't die. So she said to me, so how could you be running out of time? Which was a real, listen, I'm not running around here thinking that I have all of the answers. I'm not running around here thinking that I don't need more practice. But that is this thing about wasting time, running out of time. That's another illusion. That's another comment authored by the ego. The truth is, being okay, being at peace, practicing patience with self, with others, with this life, with the unfoldment. When a baby is born, you're not screaming at the baby, hey, hurry up and grow some teeth. Hurry up and start walking. Hurry up and start feeding yourself. Hey, come on, hurry. We have patience for babies We have patience for animals. I'm talking about little, puppies, baby animals. And I'm here to extend that patience to self, patience to you, patience for me, for my growth, patience. It's really about trusting, patience, and letting go of what you think you are making happen, and finding a deep appreciation for the journey. Finding a deep appreciation and enjoyment for the journey, especially when it's challenging. It's easy to love life and be grateful when the sun is out and the tulips are blooming and I'm skipping through a field of tulips. It's easy. The practice comes when it's not easy. And I'm here to say that practice, when it's not easy, I just keep repeating, I trust, I hate you, universe. Sometimes I throw that in. I trust, I'm at peace with uncertainty, I have patience, and thank you. And one thing that you know, that it is an ebb and flow of emotions, of circumstances, of events, people, comes and it goes. Nothing stays the same. Is that okay? Can you be at peace with that? The other thing I want to add is this is an impersonal world, universe. The sun shines on the serial killer and the Pope. The nerve of the sun shining on the serial killer. I know that I don't have control over what's happening. And so how do I enjoy the ride? How do I enjoy uncertainty? How do I find peace with not knowing? When you throw that question out, you will always get an answer. That is, if you commit, if you prioritize this happiness, inner peace, if that's a priority. And remember that whatever you're vibrating in any moment, that's what your contribution to the world is. So if you're practicing judgment, if you're practicing being sad, one of these really big motivational guys in the world, global guy, he sent an email and he said, I'm sad at what I found. Oh, my gosh, it just bothered the hell out of me. So then you're contributing sadness. And see, that bothered the hell out of me was my ego being bothered. I know the difference because underneath all of that, peace, with all of it. Well, I want to thank you for listening to Reality Spirituality. It's heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can visit my website, Rebecca Norrington. Follow me on Twitter at RL Norrington. LinkedIn, my Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a few videos on YouTube. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And the second book that I'm writing right now, I'm trying to finish it before the end of the year. With everything else going on, my second book is called Program for Unhappiness. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving, always changing, always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, happiness specialist and inner peace practitioner, Rebecca Lynn Norrington. Have a conscious week, and remember, happiness is a practice skill. Your experience in every moment reflects on what you practice.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm